I really wish sometimes I could bottle up the feelings that I have during the session and save it for later. So it's another very beautiful day today. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Brianna, and today's video is going to be a music therapy video. I feel like I haven't made a music therapy sit down video in like over 2 years, and so I'm very excited just to hop on here and talk to you guys a little bit more about music therapy and just my experience working as a board certified music therapist for the past year. So I absolutely love sharing about my music therapy journey, just from how I got from being a psychology major to a music therapy major to interning at UCSF Children's Hospital and becoming board certified. But I feel like this video would go on way too long if I talked about all that. So I'll save it for a future video. And before I get started, I just want to share a few quick facts about me. I am 26 years old, originally from sunny Los Angeles, but currently living in Atlanta, Georgia. I moved to Northern California for college, where I met my now wonderful husband, Luke. In April of 2022, I became a board certified music therapist, and shortly after Luke graduated from dental school, he decided to specialize in orthodontics, and he got matched to a 3-year residency program here in Atlanta, Georgia. So back in August of 2022, we packed our bags, moved across the country, and we've been in Atlanta ever since. After we moved to Atlanta, it took us a few months to get settled in. I also found out that Georgia requires an additional license to practice music therapy. And so the CBMT, which is the Certification Board for Music Therapists, is nationwide. However, certain states just require an additional license. So that took a few months to get. And then I started looking for my first big girl music therapy job. In February of 2023, I started working for a private practice music education and music therapy company that provides in-home services. This company has around 10 to 15 teachers and 4 to 5 music therapists. At the time when they hired me, they were building up their music therapy clientele again, so they can only give me 1 music therapy client and 2 music therapy groups. And they asked if I wanted to teach piano and guitar, and I was like, sure. And so that's how I got my first job as a music teacher and music therapist. And so over this past year, I've had around 10 music students and 10 music therapy clients and 2 music therapy groups, but not all at the same time. Because of just the nature of this job, like it's a contracting freelance job, that like the schedule is always changing and the students are like in school and then it's summer break. So, sometimes they stop and pause for a little bit. So yeah, the schedule is like always changing depending on the time of the year. But overall, I really enjoyed working this past year. And I did find out that I love music therapy a lot more than teaching. Like, I feel like my passion is really just towards music therapy. Like, music teachers are so important, and I wouldn't be where I am without all the music teachers that I've had. But for myself, like I just really want to focus on music therapy from now on out. And I feel like this setting, private practice music therapy, was so different from my practicum sites where I worked with medically fragile children in schools. I did older adults in memory care, and I did, what else did I do? A speech clinic. And my internship site, of course, was a children's hospital. So again, so different than everything that I learned before. And just transferring all the skills that I learned in all those sites to this new setting and population was such a learning experience. And again, I feel like now I am a seasoned music therapist, 1 year and a few months in. I still have so much to learn. And yeah, I absolutely love it though. I feel like music therapy is so fulfilling for me. I love working with all the clients, and yeah. So 3 highlights working as a music therapist. Number 1, it is building relationships with my clients and their families. I think my favorite thing about being a music therapist is just that I get to meet new people and build relationships with them and then make music with them. Like, it is so much fun. It really combines 2 of my favorite things, music and people. Like, just being able to do life together and get to know them, like outside, like, just only music. Like, of course, I like talk to the clients and also like their families because I am in their home. So there is a lot more like personal level to this aspect of private practice music therapy because I'm entering their home instead of like they're coming to the school, the clinic, the hospital. And so I feel like I do know the clients on a different level. just because, yeah, again, it is in-home services. And I think I really wish sometimes I could bottle up the feelings that I have during the session and save it for later. Like they're just so special to me, and I really hope that the time that we have in the sessions are just fun and memorable, also very helpful in the goals that we are setting in the music therapy session. I think an example I just really want to share is with one of my clients that I've been working with since like last summer, I believe. She's a grade school girl with autism, and her mom both are in my sessions every single week together. So I love this like kind of like family aspect to it. Like just like it's almost like we're doing a little fun group, family fun music therapy group. And this girl is so fun. Like she's amazing, natural performer, loves music, loves singing, loves dancing, and every session just feels so fun. Like that's the only way I could describe it. Like yes, we are working on attention, we're working on piano skills, we're working on so many things like turn taking, but it's all so fun because we are making music together. And yeah, I just got to know mom better through the session. Like we talk and have very intentional conversations, and I've gotten to know my client so well through the music that she's making and just, yeah, our time together. So it is so, so special to me that I get to be a part of my client's musical and life journey. Highlight number two, it is working with children with autism for the first time. I think it's so interesting because autism is one of the biggest populations that we work with as music therapists. However, just because of my practicum placement in undergrad and the internship site that I chose, I just never had a chance and opportunity to work with children with autism. And so when I first got my first few clients, I was just adapting some of the interventions that I learned from all the other sites and populations that I've worked with in the past. And yeah, just changing them up and adapting them to my sessions. And it's so fun just working with this group. They are so special, and I feel like everybody is so different, and like depending on like their goals and their needs and what they want to work on. And so with one of my adaptive lessons, my 15-year-old with autism, I've been teaching her piano for the past school year. And in an upcoming video, you'll see that there was recently a recital that my company puts on every few months. And I went on stage with my adaptive student and we played piano together, as in like I sat next to her for moral support and she played the song. And she doesn't read notes on a staff, and instead she just reads like the ones without a staff. So it's just music notes, but with a letter on there. And she played it perfectly great. And so it was so much fun just seeing her perform on stage. And I think a lot of the audience loved it as well. So again, so much fun working with this population, and I've learned so much working with them. Highlight number three is working with older adults in memory care. This group is so special and so sweet. I've been with the same group for the past year-ish, and I love working with them. I think a lot of times when I bring like music in, I just really want to connect with them through the music. And a lot of times they don't remember their own name, but they're able to sing My Bonnie, You're My Sunshine, and some songs from their young adulthood with me. And it is so cool to see. And again, they are in a facility where they might not get a lot of interaction with outside people, and they're just kind of lonely. So whenever I go, I try to be very intentional with my hello song, and I go up to each resident and smile, and they smile back at me. And yeah, I just love making music with them, singing along, dancing, and yeah, it's just so much fun. And another fun fact is that my best friend Ivy, she is a PhD candidate at UCLA, and she TAs her own class. So last May and also this May, so like a few weeks ago, she invited me to speak at her class about music therapy and older adults. And I just really go in depth in that presentation, just about like the interventions that I use, the goals that we try to address. And I might make a video on that too in the future. But yeah, I just think this is such a highlight for this past year, just working with older adults in memory care and making music with them. So now getting into three lowlights working as a music therapist. Honestly, I don't know if lowlights is a word, but just basically three downsides. So number one, it is too much driving. So just because of the nature of this specific job, like private practice in-home music therapy, it just requires a lot of driving. So I try to like stack my schedule to be like I'm in the same area, so I only drive like 10 minutes in between each client or student. But sometimes it just ends up being like driving 30 minutes to a client's house for a 30-minute session and then driving 30 minutes home. So it's like more driving time than session time, which is a little frustrating. But again, that's just the nature of this specific population that I am, or setting that I'm working in. Again, there are so many different settings that you can work in as a music therapist, but it just so happens that if it's in home services, you're just going to be doing a lot of driving. Low light number two is low pay and low respect. I think depending on the setting that you're working in, the pay might be a little bit different. But for me, because I am a contractor working for a private practice music therapy company, the pay is a little bit lower than I would like. And they also take a cut from like the services that I do provide. And a lot of times insurance covers a lot of the other therapies. However, it almost never covers music therapy. So I'm sure that has affects like the decisions that parents make for choosing music therapy for their child. And I think that kind of leads me into respect for music therapists because it is like a newer profession and it's considered like a fun therapy. I think a lot of times it's like kind of like the last choice or like an additional that the parents choose for their child. Like a lot of my clients are in ABA therapy, speech therapy, occupational, and physical. And they add on music therapy. And again, I have no problem with music therapy as being the fun therapy, but sometimes it just feels like we're kind of like the last add on, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's just kind of a low light that I think is in the music therapy field. Low light number three is that sometimes it is a little bit lonely as an in-home music therapist. I think just because of the nature of the job, I am like a remote worker, and so I do interact with my clients and my families a lot, but I only have like meetings once in a while with other teachers and therapists. So the other times I'm just like driving alone, and it just feels a little bit lonely. But again, just part of this specific setting. Yeah. So I'm going to be honest with y'all. I've been filming this video for the past 3 hours and I've taken over 100 takes. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching and I hope you stay for the rest. We have finally arrived to the lessons learned part of this video. So the first lesson that I learned is to love like Jesus. If you didn't know, I am Christian. And so I think the way I want to be as a therapist stems a lot from my Christian beliefs. I want to serve God by serving his people. So every time I enter a session, I'm kind of thinking, like, how can I be more like Jesus, love like Jesus, and yeah, just like serve like Jesus. So I think it really is like the backbone of my therapy beliefs and just how I want to present myself as a therapist to love and be more like Jesus. Lesson number two is fuel my own passion for music. I started music at a really young age, like piano at age 5, and then I found my true love for playing music in middle school when I picked up a guitar. And I've been playing music, ever since. I never thought about it as a career until I found out about music therapy. And I just love playing guitar. Like, that's truly my passion. And with me becoming a music therapist, I think that it became more of like a job instead of like a hobby. Like, I'm practicing guitar for sessions and like learning new songs for my clients. But I think it's so important for me to like still enjoy music and making music for myself. And as you can see, my beautiful vinyl wall, I love Taylor Swift. I love the 1975. I love Wicked. And like these are just like my own like interest in music. And I think it's so important for me just to continue to be passionate about music so that I can, yeah, just like, I guess, inspire my clients and everybody that I meet um, through music and with music. So, yeah, love music. The last lesson learned is to always try to be a better version of myself. I think in this past year, I've grown so much, working my first job as a board certified music therapist, getting married, and so much more that I always just want to be a better version of myself, like a better Christian, a better wife, a better music therapist, and just like better overall. And there's always ways that we can try to like improve ourselves and just grow. So I think that's something that I learned this past year, that I always want to be growing and a better version of myself. So thanks so much for listening to my thoughts as a music therapist this past year. As for the future, I have very exciting plans and goals. I will be stepping back a little bit from the company that I've been working for the past year and venturing on something new. My lovely husband created a music therapy company for me from scratch. He literally built the website, the contracts, and designed me business cards. And I literally love him so much for that. And so that's kind of like my plans for the future. I am so excited to see where God will lead me in year two working as a music therapist. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and always, always, always live life you can't put into words. Peace.